Hey guys, Clint here, former cop talking about cop stuff. I used to be a cop. I'm not a cop anymore. That makes me retired. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, Twitter. I didn't mean to make a video tonight, and I did, and I'm going to show it to you. I sat down here for a few hours going over. There was a meeting yesterday. It was Monday, February 22nd, involving Bonnie Henry. She's talking about police. She's talking to police. She's talking to you guys, police officers, and telling you how you can do a better job. I listened to the meeting, most of it, and I started making comments on it. It turned into a video that I didn't mean for to happen. And hopefully I made sense. When I was a cop, all I did every shift was go up to the hospital. Well, I did more things. But the majority of my time was going up to the hospital with people that are suffering from mental health issues. I would apprehend them, somebody else would apprehend them, we'd bring them up to the hospital, and we'd sit with them. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 17 hours. The majority of our time as a police officer was spent with people that suffer from mental health. Bonnie Henry wants to talk to you about that. Do you guys remember? She wants to tell you. She wants to tell police officers that you're not doing a good job. I'm not going to fix the problem, Bonnie, even though she's a doctor. You police have to fix the problem. I can't believe what she said. I'm grossed out. I'm bothered by what she said. And I just spent the last 3 hours talking to myself about it. I don't like talking about Bonnie Henry. I'm getting tired of talking about Bonnie Henry, okay? I don't like the fact that British Columbia is shut down. I don't like the fact that Canada is shut down partly. I don't like the fact that she is making shirts. Be kind, be calm, be safe. And she's pocketing the money. I don't like she's writing a book. She makes the rules. She makes the restrictions. And then she writes about it. She writes a story about it. And her book's coming out. And she's going to make a lot of money from it. She's making a ton of money. And now she has stepped into the policing world, telling police how they can do a better job. I can't help but watch her. I can't help but watch her. I'm sick and tired of hearing about the Super Bowl and how we shouldn't have fun at the Super Bowl or the Grey Cup. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. I'm sick and tired of a doctor telling me what I can do and what I can't do. A doctor is running our country. I want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to go to the Grey Cup. I want to buy beer on New Year's Eve after 8 o'clock. Okay? I want to go to a restaurant past 10. I want to sing. I want to say bad bitches. Okay? I want to say that. I want to sing it. I want the TVs to be louder in the restaurant than my voice.
The gatherings of any size in our homes or elsewhere are very high risk right now and should not be happening. We do need to celebrate safely.
I'm getting tired of celebrating safely. I don't want to celebrate safely anymore.
But we are not there yet.
We are there yet. We're actually there yet. It's been going down since November, okay? COVID infections have been going down since November.
But I am calling on everybody right now.
I'm calling on you to shut up. For once, just shut up and stop making these restrictions. I'm not looking forward to another bubble. I don't want to be in a bubble, okay? I don't want a 6-person bubble. I don't want to do it. Just open it up. Open it up. It's time to open it up. Stop it with this bubble talk.
Hold off on the Super Bowl celebrations this year.
Bullshit. Why would I hold off on the Super Bowl celebrations? Why would I do that?
You should not be planning, whether it's at home, in a bar, a restaurant, viewings of the Super Bowl. Stay small, stay apart, keeping everyone safe, and break the chain.
What chain? What chain are you talking about? There is no chain. Chain? Break what chain? There's not even a curve anymore. There's not even a line. It's been going down since November. There's no chain. There's no line. There's no curve. Why do we have to break anything? What are you talking about? It's broken. We won. We did it. You said 14 days, remember?
Or how you shop for groceries.
You don't want to see how I shop for groceries, okay? You just don't want to see. What do you mean how I shop for groceries? Are you watching me shopping for groceries? You sicko. Shopping for groceries. How I shop for groceries? Am I not doing it right? Are you going to tell me how I need to shop for groceries?
To keep our safe distance. Stay away from others if we're not feeling well. Stay apart, stay small, and stay local.
I don't want to stay small. I've been small all my life. I don't feel like staying small anymore. I want to be big, okay? This is so stupid, and I don't want to stay local. I live in Port Alberni.
To be kind, to be calm, and to be safe.
Don't say that again, okay? Don't ever say that again. I don't want to be kind. I don't... calm and safe. If you follow those 3 characteristics, you're going to be nothing in this world. Nothing. Not a thing. Stop saying it. All this fancy dancy terminology, and she writes it on a shirt and then sells it and makes some money off it and then writes a book about it. Stop telling us to be safe. We're safe, okay? I promise you. The majority of people aren't dying from this. We're safe, Bonnie.
This moment can be the moment we continue to reduce, continue to flatten.
Continue to flatten? What are you talking about? Straight down. How do you flatten that? Flatten? Continue to flatten? It's been going down since November, Dick. Are you serious, man? Continue to flatten?
That we have to continue to follow the guidance and the advice.
Your advice? I don't want to follow your advice anymore. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's stupid. I don't want to do it.
Many people have Super Bowl or Grey Cup parties.
Grey Cup parties? Why are you talking about the Grey Cup parties?
In their homes, and that is not on this year.
What do you mean the Grey Cup's not on this year? The Grey Cup's in November, isn't it? You're telling me we're not having a Grey Cup this year? Is that what you're saying to me? Why would you do that? We're winning. No Grey Cup. No Grey Cup in 2021? That's weird that you would say that. Was that a mistake that you said that? Did you say that by accident? Is this foreshadowing? Why does Dick not want us to go to the Grey Cup or have a Grey Cup or celebrate the Grey Cup?
By spending less time with others, by staying local, using our layers of protection, we are bending our curve.
There is no curve, Bunny. The curve has been gone since November. Why are you bullshitting us? There's no curve.
To do this, we need to use this time to buy ourselves more time.
We need to buy more time? What? We need more time? We need to use this time to buy more time. That's a shirt. That is a shirt? You hit a home run, Bunny.
Right now, we need to stay the path.
Oh, don't. Did she just say stay the path? Did you just say stay the path? That's another shirt. Do you know how much money you're going to make by the way you talk? Stay the path. Stay the path. Be kind, be safe. Stay the path. Break the chain.
We need to buy time.
Oh, fucking stop it with the time.
Seeing one more friend, having one birthday party with those outside our household is all that it may take in our communities. We want and...
Oh, you're so full of shit. Why are we listening to this? Why are you listening to this, Canada? Can you believe this? Can you believe what she's saying?
Need a smooth, flat path to the finish.
Oh my God, there's another t-shirt. Smooth. What is smooth? Smooth, flat path to the finish. That's a shirt. That's a t-shirt.
Slow it down even more.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We all want to get to the days where these orders can be lifted.
Oh, no, you don't. What are you talking about? It's your orders. You're making them. You don't want to get to that day because then you have to give your power up.
We can look to having our safe six, our bubble, again.
No. I don't want a safe six. I don't want a bubble. Nobody does. Stop this.
Staying small, staying local, right now, we need to continue.
There's another t-shirt. Stay small, stay local. That's another t-shirt.
Continue this for the next while.
Next
by
while.
being kind.
Oh,
being calm,
no.
Staying safe.
Don't say it. That's
Hold
gross.
steady in our efforts to stop the spread.
Hold steady, guys. Hold steady. Stop the spread. Okay.
Hold fast to the knowledge that our masks,
Hold fast, guys. Hold fast.
our hand washing, our physical
Hand wash. You guys need to wash more, okay? Wash your hands more.
distancing, our work, and our sacrifice save lives.
Yep.
And they do.
And we may
Absolutely.
need to actually increase some of the restrictions that we have in place.
Say what? Sorry, what'd you say? What was that?
Increase some
No,
of the restrictions that
say it
we
again.
Our hand washing, our
No,
physical
not you.
distancing, our
Get
work,
away,
and our
Dick.
sacrifice save lives.
Yeah.
And they do.
Sure.
have. And we may need to actually increase some of the restrictions that we have in place.
COVID infection straight down. We need to increase the restrictions. Possibly, right? But she doesn't want to do that. Don't make me do that.
I don't want to go there.
She doesn't want to go there, guys. Don't make her go there. But if I do, I get to write book 4. I got to print more t-shirts. I make more money.
That in the short run, right now, we have to maintain our actions to reduce that level of continue to reduce and hold the line.
Hold the line, guys. I guess we're still holding the line. It's not a line anymore.
Is stay local.
See, I just went off again. Anyways, guys, I made this video. Just watch it. I'm kind of going backwards because I didn't know I was going to do a video. I guess I just wanted you to understand who Bonnie Henry was, so I just showed a little clip that she made about, I don't know, a week ago. And Enjoy it. Hey guys, Clint here, former cop. Used to be a cop and not a cop anymore. I'm retired. Bonnie Henry. She went to a meeting, a legislative meeting. I'm not even doing a podcast right now. I got to listen to this meeting. It's about reforming the Police Act. Special Committee on Reforming the Police Act. Bonnie Henry's there, I heard. And I'm like, why is Bonnie Henry there? Why do they have Bonnie Henry at this meeting? Did you even know that she went to these kind of meetings? I didn't know this. I don't want to watch it. I can't watch it. I can only listen to it. I haven't watched it. I haven't listened to it. I have no idea what she's going to say. I actually have no idea what she's going to say. But if she's going to talk about police, you know it's not going to be anything good that comes out of her mouth. Because what is a doctor doing talking about police?
She's done, and
what has she done?
And I tell her that the painted rock that's on her desk probably came from a constituent, and I have a bag of coffee for you here.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I have a number of painted rocks that I keep close to me. Thank you very much.
She keeps rocks close to her.
An honor to be able to speak to you today, and very grateful to be speaking to you from the traditional and unceded territories of the Locomotive people here.
Okay.
And some of these First Nations, and I am also very grateful to be able to speak to you from these beautiful lands.
Yeah.
My role as the provincial health officer is is speaking to the public about their health. And it is in that context that I am talking to you today about the Police Act. And one might say, what does public health and the health of people have to do with policing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As Jennifer has so eloquently explained, there is, unfortunately and sadly in some ways, an intersection now that very much relies on
because of you
policing to support people, particularly people who are homeless, street involved, and people with substance use and mental health and addictions issues.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's
a lot of stuff there, right there. Homeless, they got mental health issues, drug abuse. That's a lot of labels. You take a person to the hospital, the doctor, she releases them. They're suffering from mental health. They don't even get a diagnosis. She releases them immediately. We go pick them up the next day because they still need help. We bring them back to the hospital. They get released immediately. And what does she call them now? Homeless. No, it's people that suffer. Stop saying homeless. It's people that are suffering from mental health. Stop making them homeless, Bonnie. Stop using that term. They're not homeless. They're suffering from mental health. And they're suffering from drug addiction. But she wants to label them homeless. Well, they're homeless because you're making them homeless, okay? You kick them out of the hospital. Then the crazy goes back onto the road. Why is he on the road? Because he's crazy. But we're going to call them that homeless? I'm already angry. I can't do this.
Challenges that we have seen in trying to address that through a public safety and policing.
Well, that's pretty easy to address it. Stop locking shit down, lady. Overdoses are up. Suicide's up.
Approach
labels them. Three things. 3 categories. Homeless, mental health, and drugs. Stop calling. You want to fix the homeless problem? Stop calling them homeless. You know, I've read a lot of things online about the homeless. What can we do for the homeless? Not one comment ever says, why don't we get them a job? Not one comment about it. Homelessness is easy to fix. You get them a job. You get them some money. It's the easiest thing in the world to fix, but that's not the problem. They're not homeless. They're suffering from drug addiction. They're suffering from mental health. She's a doctor. She's not helping them. She could be the fix. She's not the fix, but she's there to fix the police. Shouldn't she fix her own bed before she tries to make an RCMP bed? Huh? I'm getting sick and tired of people calling these people homeless.
Painted rock that's on her desk probably came from a constituent, and I have a bag of coffee for you here.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I have a number of painted rocks that I keep close to me. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be able to speak to you today. And I will, you have the opportunity to shape the approach to policing that we have in this province going forward. And it is a fundamental piece of legislation.
How about the approach doctors treat people who have mental illness? You're a cop. You bring them to the hospital because they're suffering. What does a doctor do? He brings out a check sheet. Ask them, are you a harm to yourself? No. Oh, not anymore? Yeah, I was just kidding. Okay, see you later. Don't even give them a mental health diagnosis. But no, it's because they're homeless.
One might say, what does public health and the health of people have to do with policing?
Well, lots. Because we're doing your job. We're driving them to the hospital. And you're kicking them out. Can't you find a bed for these people? Can't you get them real help? Can't you do that?
Policing to support people, particularly people who are homeless, underhoused, street involved, and people with substance use and mental health and addictions issues. And that has been a shift and a change that we've seen in society, not just here in BC, but globally over many.
So what are you going to do about it, Bonnie? Why don't you do something about it, Bonnie? Don't focus on the police.
Many years. And I reflect about, my role in particular in highlighting the overdose crises that we have been living through for the last 4 years here in British Columbia, and the challenges that we have seen in trying to address that through a public safety and policing approach aligned with mental health and health. And I will refer you to my report that I put out in 2018 called Stopping the Harm, Decriminalization of People Who Use Drugs in BC.
A lot of people don't live in a home because they can't live in a home. They don't treat the home right. They wreck the home. They destroy the home. They're not homeable. She wants drugs decriminalized. She doesn't want people to go to jail for drugs where they might get help. So she wants them back on the street. What do you do when you take drugs every day? You become mentally ill. She supports the decriminalization of drugs. Are there any police at this thing?
And thinking about policing issues, because I have a lot over the last number of years.
I actually feel uncomfortable sitting here right now listening to this. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like she's going to say something that's going to make me just... Please don't say anything dumb. Please.
And one of the challenges that I find we have here in British Columbia with the way our police services are established is that we have municipal police services or police forces that are, in my experience anyway, more closely aligned with the community and the community norms and ideas and issues. And we also have a large proportion of the province where policing...
What the fuck did you just say?
More closely aligned with the community and the community norms and ideas and issues.
What? How are they more aligned?
And we also have a large proportion of the province where policing is provided by the RCMP. And
okay. So she's saying municipal is more in line with something. With public safety, I think. Why do you got this Cracker Jack at this meeting? Why? She's just a doctor, guys, okay? That's all she is. She's just a doctor.
I don't know how you can manage this, but we see a real difference in the culture and the understanding of the norms within British Columbia and the approaches within BC when we're talking with people who work with the RCMP versus a municipal police force.
Wow. Differences in culture, norms, and approaches between municipal and RCMP. She can tell us all about this.
And early on in our overdose crisis, we were able to get naloxone available to police services and to other first responders to provide life-saving support to people who were overdosed.
Isn't that weird? Isn't it like a contradiction of what she's saying? She wrote a paper in 2018 supporting decriminalization of drugs. Overdoses are through the roof. I'm going to give police naloxone kits so they can go out and save them.
In our communities, the RCMP, which are very driven by policies from Ottawa, refused to allow officers to carry naloxone. And then at one point, it was a decree from Ottawa that RCMP officers would carry naloxone, but only use it on each other should they be exposed to those people who were doing drugs and need. The concept was that they would not, that it was against the RCMP policy for them to provide life-saving medication to somebody who was overdosing and dying in front of them. What I see is a societal or a cultural divide between the types of police services that we have here in British Columbia.
Okay, fair enough. So cops, RCMP have naloxone. And I don't remember if this is true or not. I'm just going to assume that it's true. They have naloxone. We weren't allowed to use it on people that were overdosing. We are now. We have been for a long time. I don't know why she's even bringing it up, really. But what she's saying is the RCMP, they wouldn't even use it on people. They weren't allowed to use it on people if they found people that were overdosing. So how can you not care? What she's saying, how can you not care for somebody that really needs the care? Right? Kind of like what they do, isn't it? You bring somebody, a Section 2/8, to the hospital, somebody suffering from mental health. And what do 9 times out of 10? Buddy leaves. He leaves within an hour, 2 hours. If you're lucky, he'll stay overnight. Rarely happens. So are they fixing anybody? Are they saving lives? They refuse to save lives. And when they go out that door, those people don't even have a mental illness diagnosis. We just call them homeless. That's what we call them. Because of Bonnie Henry. She's the decision maker. Top doctor, right? Top doctor. I guess it makes me really angry because I understand how the RCMP, all police in Canada, probably worldwide, yes. Who are the experts when dealing with mental people, with crazies, people suffering from mental illness? Who are the experts? It's the police. That's all they do is deal with them every shift, every day. Every single shift. Crazy call after crazy call after crazy call. I've spent thousands of hours up at the hospital every cop has with crazy man. Until they see a doctor. I spent an entire shift up there once. I went back to the Port Alberni detachment to take a pee. They couldn't find a bed for crazy guy. I worked 12 hours on this. I leave the office. I'm off now. I go back up to the hospital. I put crazy car back into my patrol car. And I drive all the way down to Victoria where there was a bed for him. He was so insane that they decided that they would keep this one. I spent over 17 hours on one guy because they didn't have a bed for him. They don't have beds for them. They don't have anything for them. They don't have facilities for these people. They can't handle it. They need to open them up again. You need to open them up. You can't have them running around town. You want to fix this shit? You give police more powers. Give police more powers to apprehend these people. Right now, we can only apprehend them if they're a safety to themselves, likely to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. Open it right up for police. Why are we giving people that suffer from mental health these rights? Why are we so worried? Oh, they have rights. You can only apprehend them if they have this. You can only hold them for this amount of time. If you really want to fix the problem, that's how you fix it. You force them into a facility. But the facility doesn't even exist. You got to build it again. You got to make it. But she's blaming police. When it's actually her doing. Nobody's getting help, guys. Nobody is getting help. They're not getting help. Only a select few. How many lives have been wasted because of their rules, their regulations, and them not doing anything? And she's going to criticize the police when it's really her that should be criticized. The majority of my time as a police officer, I spent with crazy people. I consider myself an expert on how to de-escalate a crazy person. And I worked with over 1,000 experts. They're experts. The majority of police officers are experts at dealing with people that suffer from a mental illness. There's nothing wrong with their approach. Nothing wrong with it. Can we get better? Yeah, of course we can all get better, but I'm not here to... Of course. And she's saying the municipal they do a better job. Who gives a rat's ass who does a better job? I think we're all doing a pretty good job. Is that why she's there? To tell you who's doing a better job? I don't know. Let's keep listening.
A cultural divide between the types of police services that...
She says it's a cultural divide between municipal and RCMP because not right away, RCMP members weren't allowed to give naloxone to people that were having an overdose. So that's the cultural divide. That's the difference. And it almost sounds like she's leaning towards systemic racism, and that's why there's systemic racism in the RCMP. That's one of the reasons. There's a lot of things I don't agree with that the RCMP do. If you're a Vancouver City cop, you know you're allowed to smoke dope the night before. You're allowed to smoke dope and then go to work. If you're an RCMP member, you have to wait like 30 days. You have to have 30 days off. Nobody has 30 days off, right? So you're not allowed to smoke dope as an RCMP member because it's in your system. That's what the commissioner came out and did. I think it was the commissioner. That's the rule. RCMP members aren't allowed to smoke dope. Is that systemically racist? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's not leaning towards racism in the RCMP, but it sounds like it. It sounds like it to me because I've heard a lot of this talk lately. Okay, so that's one. One is the naloxone problem. It's a huge difference between municipal and RCMP, according to Bonnie Henry, that members weren't allowed to give naloxone right away to people that were suffering from an overdose. So that's why there's a huge divide between municipal and the RCMP, something about cultural norms. There's differences in the approaches. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I got to do a video on this now. This can't be my video. Now I'm in it. I got to do a video on this. God, it's going to take me forever to do a video on this one.
This pandemic, when RCMP officers who could not, who had beards, were not allowed to be assigned to be public-facing services. So they were assigned to desk duties because there was concern that they couldn't get an appropriate seal with an N95 respirator.
Yeah.
Which, on a whole bunch of different health levels, that's a challenge because there's no need for police to be wearing respirators out in the public anyway. But again,
really, Bonnie? There's no need? Hey, police officers, I just want you to know that Bonnie Henry says there's no need for you to carry a respirator with you. There's no reason for you to have one of those fancy dancy masks, okay? No reason for it at all. No reason for a fit test. Nothing. You don't have to. This is what the top doctor is telling you guys. If you go to a call where you need to put one of those masks on, you don't have to. Bonnie Henry just told you don't have to do it. Do you fucking believe this shit? You don't have to wear a mask, ever, out in public. You inhale those fumes, okay? Those toxic fumes. You put that into your system. I don't like the beard. I'm just going to come out and tell you that. I don't like seeing a cop with a beard. I think it's gruffy. It doesn't look good. Not going to be popular. I want my beard. No. Take the fucking shit off. I'm sorry, but just do it. I can't say that. I got people with beards watching me. I liked the fact that RCMP members were always clean cut. I do. I did. I shaved every single day. Okay, maybe my boots weren't always that nice. I didn't mind the tie. I know it sounds silly, but I like the look. Clean cut, shaved, wearing a tie. The beard thing? I know you want to feel more manly with a beard, and you know the girls like it better. But I don't know. I like seeing a cop without a beard, okay? Especially the women. That's just me. There's some traditions that you want to keep as an RCMP member. You want to polish the shit out of your eyebrows. You want to be clean shaven. You want that. You don't want the yellow stripe, but it's tradition. And Bonnie Henry's telling you that. Well, she's teaching you guys. Okay? Fucking Fruit Loop.
And you didn't get an appropriate seal with an N95 respirator, which on a whole bunch of different health levels, that's a challenge because there's no need for police to be wearing respirators out in the public anyway.
I can't believe she said that. I just can't believe it. Bonnie Henry's talking to police officers, telling you guys what you need to do. You don't need to wear masks. I can't believe it. I can't believe I just heard that. You want to know something? This sweet gal here? Do you want to know what the best mask you could wear as a nurse in a nursing home? It's called an N95. I said that back in March. I said it back in March. I said that it's free. It's airborne. I said this on a Facebook thread. My buddy Ryan Andow. I said it on his Facebook thread. Facebook deleted my messages. I said N95 is the best mask to wear to prevent COVID spread because it's airborne. Facebook deletes the message, the thread. I couldn't believe it. I went back into it to look at it. A couple months later, it's gone. We know the N95 mask is the best, right? Where are you going to find an N95 mask? Where are you going to find them? Nursing homes, right? No. No, you're not. Nursing homes all across British Columbia are without the N95. They're just using surgical masks. Their nurses are just using surgical masks. Isn't that unbelievable? Way less effective. And that's what they're using. If there was outbreaks right now in nursing homes in Port Alberni, no N95 mask. Not even fit tested for them. You got to get fit tested for. You're supposed to get fit tested for an N95 mask. Not even fit tested. Don't have them. And she's saying the police are the problem. There's no need to wear cops. There's no need to wear a respirator out in public. Is there a need to wear an N95 mask in a nursing home? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Not a surgical mask. Not a pair of panties around your face. You put an N95 mask on and you put a lighter to your mouth, you can't blow that flame out. I'm pretty sure. You put a pair of panties on your mouth, around your face, you're blowing the flame out. You tell me which one's better. It's a known fact. And the top doctor knows that nursing homes are without N95 masks. And she's at a meeting about the Police Act. I want to go to her meeting.
RCMP officers who could not, who had beards, were not allowed to be assigned to be public facing on a whole bunch of different health levels. That's a challenge because there's no need for police to be wearing respirators out in the public anyway.
How is that a challenge? You shave your beard. Okay, maybe you're religious and that's fine, so sit at a desk. I don't see why this is even a topic. I can't believe she's giving you advice. And thousands of nurses are without an N95 mask. The one tool that is effective, they're without. You want to save old people? You wear an N95 mask around them. In a nursing home. Idiot! How can the top doctor allow a nurse to walk around without an N95 mask? I'd like to know. I want to know. Why doesn't somebody ask her that? Fuck. Are you getting tired of Bonnie Henry? I'm getting a little tired of Bonnie Henry.
I think Jennifer...
She has nothing left to say, guys. I think this is over. I'm hoping it's over. But what did she say today? A bunch of nothing. There's a difference between municipal and RCMP. And they don't allow... They don't like beards. Okay, RCMP don't like... Well, they do like beards. Everybody's got a beard now. What's her point? Oh, one point was some of them had to sit at a desk instead of go out in the public. Okay. Okay. What was the first point? I can't even remember. It was so dumb. It was so unintelligent. Public safety or something? I can't even remember the first one. She has said nothing. She has said absolutely nothing. Just gibberish.
My appeal to you is very similar in that we need to enable a consistent culture where we can provide public safety and law enforcement services.
Why don't you provide public safety and give nurses N95 masks? Why don't you revise the Mental Health Act? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that, Bonnie? Why was it in my career 9 times out of 10 when I brought somebody up to the hospital because they were crazy, you released them? Do you think that saved lives? Do you think that made them better? And what do you call them now? You call them homeless. They're not getting the proper care. You're not caring for them. You're not helping them. You're not making them safe. Be kind, be safe, right? Is that being safe? Is that being kind?
Well, we need to decriminalize drugs. Yeah. That's what we need to do. So they could go take more drugs and become more mental.
Stop calling it homeless. It's drug addicts and mental health problems. It's what it is. They're homeless. Fuck. Never in my career, not one time, did I ever come across a pursuit of happiness situation where a mom and dad and a kid are on the streets because they're homeless. Never, ever did it happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying, I'm saying it doesn't fucking happen, okay? That's what I'm saying. It's so rare that I'm willing to say it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Nobody would allow that. You get welfare. If you're really down in the dumps, You get welfare and they find a place for you. Okay? Nobody is going to allow anybody who is mentally well, doesn't have a drug addiction, walk around the streets in the middle of the night. If we had a homeless problem, it'd be a simple fix. Everybody would bring them into their homes. Everybody would give them money. Everybody would get them a job. Don't tell me there's a homeless problem. You're using the wrong terminology. You want to know the worst thing you could do? The worst thing you can do for somebody? I shouldn't say it. This is the worst thing you could do to somebody, and I'm going to use my son, okay? I think I've already said this before. But if my son is a drug addict and suffers, if my son is a drug addict and I kick my son out of the house, what's the worst thing that can happen to my son? One of the parents takes him in so he can continue his drug addiction. Let's say they don't take him in. What's another worst thing that can happen to my son? He could go down to welfare. No, he can go to a shelter. I don't want my son going to a shelter. I don't want him having shelter. I want him to come back home to me. I want him to stop using the drugs. I want him to come back home. But who helps him out? The shelter helps him out. Gives him free heat, food, roof over his head. Then he goes down to welfare, gets a bunch of money. He's got free housing, free food, free drugs. Every penny that he gets from welfare, he can now use on his drug addiction. I want him cold. I want him hurting so he comes back to my home. Is he homeless? No. He's a drug addict. If you suffer from mental illness and you're walking around the streets, if you're a drug addict and you give somebody a home, I've seen it, guys. They don't take care of the home. They're shitting in the home, in the corners of the home, right on the floor. Shitting and pissing. It's destroyed. You should see this town, how many destroyed apartments we have. How many apartment buildings are being torn down right now. Because they can't live in this shit. They need help with their minds. Decriminalize drugs, she says. Oh, I'm homeless. No, you're not. You're a drug addict that refuses to get help and refuses to be homed. That's what you are. Stop giving it all the labels. I never met a person who suffered from mental illness, living on the street, who also wasn't addicted to alcohol or drugs. I don't have a memory of that. Let's help out the homeless, guys. What do we need to do? Let's band together. Let's get the homeless some food. Guys, they got all the food in the world, I'm telling you right now. They're not hungry, okay? They got lots of food. How else can we? Let's get them some money. Yeah, they need money. So they could buy some more drugs. That's what we'll do. Let's get them some homes so they can destroy the homes. Yeah, that's what we'll do. How about you get them some help? Even if they refuse the help, that's how you fix the problem. Even if they refuse. But we allow it. We allow them to run around town. It doesn't make any sense to me. You can cure it. You can fix the problem. You take them. You make them get help. You force them to get help. Food, money, shelter only feeds their addiction. It doesn't make any sense to me. These people are suffering on the streets. They are. They're not coping well. If you really want to help them, you got to do what I just said. If they all had Alzheimer's disease, every single one of them, do you not think they would get the help? They'd be put in a home. But because they suffered from mental illness and drug addiction, we don't do anything about it. And me, as a cop, when I take them to the hospital, you're just going to release them back into that same community? A community which most of them really love, by the way, because it's their community, the street community. Don't kid yourself. A lot of them like it. Community feels good. You're part of something. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying this shit, I know it. For stating the obvious. I wasn't going to do a video today. I had no intention of doing a video. I was just going to come. I guess this is a video now. I think this is going to be a video. I just sat down. I don't even have a light on. I just thought I'd hit record while I was watching Bonnie Henry, but it feels like this is turning into a video. I don't have a light on. The camera angle's all screwed up. It's not even proper. I got terrible hair. But I think this is a video. I cracked a beer. I need to watch more of this.
Partnerships to address these complex social issues that we find ourselves embroiled in right now.
Complex social issues that we're embroiled right now. What are they, Bonnie? Could it be your restrictions, Bonnie? Are you talking about those issues? That you made complex? You shut down the beer and wine stores, the liquor stores at 8 o'clock on New Year's? You got to be out of a bar, a restaurant at 10 o'clock? They can't play the TV louder than your voice? You can't sing a song? You can't go to church? People's livelihoods destroyed? Business that they spent all their life trying to build, and you just took it away from them? For what? Because you didn't want the spread of the COVID? Oh. The majority of people aren't dying from it? And who's dying from it? Older population, right? The older population. Save them. And you don't even give nursing homes N95 masks? Yeah, complex issues. You're making it pretty complex. I got to be out of a restaurant at 10 o'clock, but I can still shop at Walmart? I could go to Costco where everybody is everywhere. That's all right, but I can't go to church. Not that I would go to church. Why are the big stores open and the little stores are destroyed? Businesses that will never come back ever again. Complex issues, he says.
I would also put out a call for trauma-informed training that helps us address some of the not only trauma, but racist issues that we are dealing with. And we're...
What? No. Racist issues that we're dealing with. Which issues? Oh, are we going to hear an example? Are we going to hear an example? Here we go. Here we go. Racist. You can't just throw that out there without backing it up, Bonnie. Okay? Let's hear what you're going to say. You got to be... right? You're going to say something? I knew she was going to say racism.
Racist issues that we are dealing with, and we're consumed with that, as you know, right now in our healthcare system, but it also is in all aspects of how we respond to some of these issues in our community right now. And I would also say, you know, how can we modernize the Police Act to facilitate the coordination and the consistent culture that allows us to take on and tackle some of these major health issues in our communities. And particularly our overdose crisis is one that I'm most concerned about.
She's most concerned about, guys. She's most concerned about the overdose problem. Well, open up British Columbia, guys. Open up Canada. Open it up. If you want less overdoses, less suicide, open it up. Who's overdosing? This shit. Can you? I can't even believe there's injection sites. That's another thing. How do you wrap your head around this one? Free housing, free shelter, free roof over your head, free heat, free food, free money. And now we got a little place for you where you can inject your illegal drugs into. You could go to this place and do it. How else can we feed? And we do nothing for these people. We feed their addiction. And we make it safe for them to do it. I bring the point back to my son. If my son got addicted to drugs, I don't want him going into an injection site so he could do it safely. Are you kidding me? Why would I help him do his drugs safely? I went off, and I forgot what she just said. Who's overdosing, Bonnie? People on the street are overdosing, Bonnie. Why are they on the street, Bonnie? You're the doctor. They're suffering from mental health. Why aren't you helping them? Why are you shitting on the police, Bonnie? When you're not doing your job? Oh, nobody in Canada is doing their job when it comes to people suffering from mental health. Police are taxi drivers delivering them to the hospital only to see them get no help and kicked out almost immediately because of people like Bonnie Henry. It's a fact. You don't fix something this way. You don't fix something this way. You act. You actually come up with a thought, an idea. Maybe my idea isn't good, but at least I'm thinking of an idea. Can't you sit around a table and come up with a good idea on how to fix this shit? She complains about overdoses. But yet she supports decriminalization of drugs.
Not only decriminalization program of people, decriminalizing of people who use drugs, but the holistic supports that we need to help people rebuild and connect and move away from that cycle in the criminal justice system.
What?
So I will leave it at there, and I'll be sending in my report for you for your information as well.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. What'd she say? I don't know. Oh. How painful. Talking
Doug,
out of her ass.
And who knew ever heard of Zoom before last year? So the inevitable, you're on mute.
Just to make
A real difference between Mounies and RCMP. A huge difference, eh? What was it, Beards? Beards and... I don't know, something about naloxone. Oh, it's just huge differences. Cultural differences, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. My next, my next question is to Dr. Henry around the naloxone and the RCMP not being able to carry and administer. Presumably, this has been brought forward by the Public Health Office. What has the RCMP's response been to that request? I'm just curious. Has it been, no, we're not going to do it, or have they?
They are doing it, dummy. He wants to reform the police and he doesn't even know? Who's this guy? Dan Davies? He doesn't even know the policies and procedures that the RCMP do. And he's there trying to fix the police. Unbelievable.
They given reason? I mean, and again, this is the complexity of policing where you've got a federal police force following rules that don't necessarily align with possibly what we want here within the province. So I'm just wondering if you can comment on that, Dr. Henry.
So this was an issue that arose initially around 2017.
Oh,
when we started.
Oh, 2017. Oh.
And yes, so that was the initial response from RCMP. It has since changed, and
it changed right away. But it's an issue. Okay, I guess the RCMP didn't want to do it right away. Okay. But they changed it. They fixed it. They didn't feel like giving naloxone to everybody. I guess naloxone came out because members could die from inhaling that certain shit into your lungs. And I guess they came out and said, no, we're not going to wake people up from an overdose. I guess they said that. But they quickly switched and changed their minds. So why is this even a topic?
And they are now carrying naloxone to be used both for people that they find, and that's where it is used most often.
Yeah, Dan Davies.
And as a matter of fact, it was the Surrey RCMP who were the first RCMP officers in the country to actually,
as a matter of fact,
use naloxone, and they essentially followed our protocols because there was a person who overdosed outside of one of the Surrey police stations.
What?
And they revived that person
thank
and saved
God.
his life with naloxone.
Oh, thank God.
That led to a change
He was overdosing. Thank God they saved him.
in policy from RCMP nationally.
Great. Well,
We save them. We get them help. We take them to the hospital. Bonnie Henry kicks them out of the hospital right away. They go back onto the street. They overdose again. Sometimes die. And we have to fix the police. Not them, right? They don't need fixing. With all the great ideas they come up with, right? Mental Health Act's a joke. Giving rights to people that are suffering mentally.
thanks for the clarification on that. That's it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dan. Dan Davies.
Sure. So, at the time, we presented a couple of options that I understood were available to government under the current Police Act as ways that they could influence the ability to decriminalize people who use drugs within BC.
Decriminalize people who use drugs in BC. Is that fixing the fucking problem? Why are they talking about this? How is she going to do it? She's going to fix the problem of overdoses by decriminalizing drugs. Who's overdosing? People that suffer from mental health. Majority. Why not get them help for their drug addiction?
The priority of government was not to pursue charges against people who had possession of small amounts of drugs.
What a lunatic. Do you know why there's crime in most towns? There's a small amount of people doing a majority of the crime. You know why? I'll bring it back to my son. If my son uses the welfare to do his drugs and he runs out of his money, what's my son going to do? He's got no money. He's a drug addict. What he's got to do? He's going to go into people's backyards. He's going to steal things. That's what they do, guys. He's going to break into houses, maybe rob something. People addicted to drugs, they need to feed their addiction. That she's for. Decriminalize it is the answer? You decriminalize it, you're going to have more people doing drugs. You're going to have more crime, higher crime. Guaranteed. That's her fix. Decriminalize it so there's less overdoses? Like, this is insanity.
Police services could not, the priority of government was not to pursue charges against people who had possession of small amounts of drugs.
Help the bad guy, that's what she's saying. Help the bad guy. Help the drug addict. Help the crackhead. We need to help the crackhead. They do something illegal. They have drugs on them. That's fine, guys. We want them to have the drugs on them. We don't want them to go to jail for it. And when they run out of those drugs, why are they calling her a top doctor? When's the last time she even had a patient? This is driving me insane.
And the other option that would be to amend the Police Act to include a provision that would prevent members of a police force in BC from expending resources on enforcement of simple possession offences under Section 4.
Enforcement of simple possession. Her fix to drug addicts and people that suffer from mental health is decriminalizing drugs. That's her fix. Not to actually help the person out. It's not to actually... Am I off on this? This is what I'm hearing. Nobody's talking about this. It's not even in the news. If you want to decriminalize, okay, deal. Decriminalize drugs. I don't give a... If you want to decriminalize drugs, go ahead. I don't care. Go ahead, do it. But you need to start building facilities like they had in Coquitlam. You need more crazy centers to help people. Police need to apprehend them, and when they take them to the hospital actually does their job and does something for these people. I had a doctor on the phone for 3 hours, couldn't find a bed for an insane guy that I brought up to the hospital. They couldn't find him a bed. There's no beds. There's no facilities to treat these people. So they go back on the street. She's in charge of this shit. She can make a difference. She's not making a difference. She's just shitting on police. Telling police what they need to do. These are the people that are making the decisions for police officers, for Canada, for the world. These are the guys like Dan DeVries who didn't even know that RCMP members do have naloxone kits. And they are administering it to people that are overdosing. Dan DeVries, he didn't even know that. They're making decisions here. This committee is designed to come up with ideas, and they don't know anything about policing. Bonnie Henry's mind thinks, how can I prevent death? How can I prevent COVID spread? Well, I'll shut down the world. Even though Florida is doing kick-ass, it's wide open. You're an idiot if you're walking around Florida in a mask. Nobody's doing it. LA locked down. Florida's doing better than LA. Figure that one out. Maybe the right approach should have been that everybody runs around and gets it. If you're old, you stay home. You want to help out nursing homes? Then pay nurses triple the money to stay home. Protect the nursing homes. When nurses are sleeping at home, pay them while they're sleeping instead of giving all this money away in Canada. How are we going to... Do you know how many... Every kid is walking around with $6,000 in their pocket. You can't buy anything anymore in Canada because it's sold out. You can't even get a hot tub. It's sold out. A fancy watch, it's sold out. Do you know how many rich people in Vancouver, in the Lower Mainland, there are right now? All this money, gone. This should have went to the nurses, the doctors, the healthcare professionals, cashiers. Shit like that. We should have ran around, got COVID, because the majority of people aren't dying from it. And by now, it would have been herd immunity. It's just an idea, guys. That's how my brain thinks. This shit is so good, and I can't listen to it all. But this is good shit. It really shows you how the world is run. These are the people. And I don't know. You know, some of the things I said today, I know that I can't be all right. But I'm willing to change my mind.
Of simple possession offenses under Section 4.1 of the CDSA, the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act.
Want to hear something real stupid? This is how goofy they are, okay? When I became a cop, I found a kid that had a small amount of marijuana on him. And I thought the marijuana was the devil. What? He's got a few joints. I released him right away. But I forwarded it to Crown Counsel. Like, that's illegal. It's illegal. And all the other cops were like they had more experience than me. And they knew wasn't going to be any charges. But I found that shocking. I had to prove it for myself. And it came back and they said no charges. I'm like, that's weird. He broke the law. Never once in my career did I see anybody get charged for a small amount of any kind of drug in Canada. And they're really working hard on this. We don't charge. Police aren't charging for a small amount of drugs. Courts aren't agreeing with it. Courts are throwing it out immediately. They're fighting nothing. They think they're coming up with they think they've hit a home run here. Police aren't putting people in jail for a small amount of drugs. Trust me, it doesn't happen. We throw it away. We get it destroyed. I quickly learned that when I became a cop. I quickly learned that having a small amount of drugs in your pocket was the same as anal intercourse in the criminal code. You didn't do anything about it. You did nothing about it. But they're working hard to get something amended. This is how she thinks. How do I save lives? I stopped the transmission of COVID by locking down British Columbia. Why are there overdoses? Well, it partly has to do with because you locked down British Columbia. Same reason why suicides are up and domestic and divorce and cancer screenings down. How do I stop overdoses? I don't really fix the person. I allow drugs to not be criminal. I swear to God, I'm just waiting for her to say, we should change the speed limit to 20 kilometers an hour because that's going to save lives, which is true. I guess my point is, do you really want to live your life like this? There's risks every time you step out the front door. But she's thinking, how can I? She thinks she's doing a really good job. A doctor is running British Columbia, guys. I told the woman the other night, I'm like, I don't want to be kind. That's driving me insane. Being kind? I don't want to be kind. I want to be rude. What's the other one she says? Be calm. No, I want to freak out. I want to freak out. I want to be calm. Be safe? No, I want to be dangerous, but I want to be dangerous as vicious, you know? And she's making money off this shit with her shirts. It's going in her pocket. She's making a ton of money. She wrote a book. Wrote a book. It's coming out. She makes the restrictions and writes a story about it. Do you know how much money this lady is making? Every single time she comes up with a rule, she gets to write about it. You know it's going to be more than one book. This is what happens when you let a doctor run your country, and nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. It's getting boring. It's getting old. She won't stop. They told us to hold the line for 14 days in March. Okay, we held the line. What'd they say about the curve? They told us to not bust the curve. They told us to flatten it. Have you seen the curve lately? Have you seen the line lately? It's not a line anymore. It's not a curve. It hasn't been since November 2019. Have you seen this graph? It's straight down. It's downhill. It's a steep grade, guys. They told us to flatten it. We did. We did better than that. They told us to flatten the curve. We did better than flatten it. And what did she say like a week and a half ago?
By spending less time with others, by staying local, using our layers of protection, we are bending our curve. To do this, we need to use this time to buy ourselves more time.
There's the evidence. She doesn't want to give up her power. She won't give up her power. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Actually, wear 3. Wear 4. Trust the science. There's not even any evidence that masks work. I promise you, there isn't. There's no evidence. But they want you to wear 3 and 4, and they want you to have sex with a mask on. And we're listening to it. If you fart and you're wearing a mask, why do you smell it? Do you know a fart particle? This is so dumb. Is a lot smaller than a COVID particle? Why are we smelling it? I know that's stupid. This whole thing is dumb. 14 days. And she might even come out with more restrictions. Did you hear this? Did you hear this? She doesn't want to do it. No, she doesn't want to. Don't you make me.
And we may need to actually increase some of the restrictions that we have in place. I don't want to go there.
There's no curve. We held the line. And she's thinking about more restrictions. And we just sit here and go, yeah. Because her mind is, what can I do? It's as crazy as, how can we avoid accidents? Let's take away the cars. That's what we'll do. Let's decrease how fast we go. Because it would save lives, right? If we decreased it to 20 kilometers. You want to do that? You want to do that? Of course not. Of course you don't want to do that. You don't want to decrease the speed limit to 20 kilometers. Just like you don't want to have shit locked down for this long. I want to go on vacation, okay? I want to go to Mexico. I want to go to Vegas. It's all about power. You don't want to give up your power. Because you're important right now. You give it up, you stop making these rules, people will forget about you. And you're going to lose some money too, right? You won't be able to write book 4. You won't be able to sell any more shirts. You'll lose being famous.
The amount of time that officers must stay at a hospital with somebody who's being detained.
I want to hear this one. Okay, I got to hear this.
Yeah, thank you for that. And just the other issue too is just in terms of
Trevor Halford,
one of the local RCMP that I was talking to in White Rock, and he attends quite a number of youth that are struggling with mental health, and obviously adults as well.
We all do.
And part of the issue that he's saying, it's coming from a resourcing issue as well, is just the amount of time that officers must stay at a hospital
forever
with somebody who's being detained
forever,
and just want to see. I don't know personally if that's helpful, very helpful. If it's a resourcing issue, and again, at what point are the the proper?
It's a resourcing issue for the hospitals because they don't have proper security.
It may be something that Dr. Henry can also speak to, but I will say that the officer that you spoke to absolutely resonates with the experience that we see too. And it becomes a very difficult situation for an officer, and particularly if they're, in smaller communities where perhaps there aren't that many on at any point in time. Well,
it's every community, guys. There's never enough on. Ever enough on. Yeah, 4 constables working in Port Alberni. One's tied up at the hospital. And then you get another mental health call. Now you got 2 at the hospital. Who's taking calls? For hours. You're there for hours.
The officer could be spending hours and hours in the emergency room waiting for it.
You're not even priority when you go to the hospital. The nurses don't even make you priority. Hey, I love nurses, okay? I married one. But you're not even a priority. You have to wait in line. You're paying for it.
You can appreciate one of the quotes actually speaks to that can actually raise the stigma and shame attached to it for the young person that they're sitting with in emergency.
Well, no, they're usually sitting in a room, Jennifer.
It also takes away from the opportunity to do other things. So it is a significant issue. We addressed it in the detained report. So I'm sure Dr. Henry.
A huge, huge issue. Is Bonnie working on that one? We're going to find out.
He has some other comments on that.
I say that reflects a challenge across our system, not only from policing and the mental health.
Well, what are you going to do about it? It's a challenge, right? I came up with some ideas. Why can't you? Huh? We got all this money. Why not build some facilities for them?
Or lack thereof, substance use supports we have in community, but also into the healthcare system where mental health is not well integrated, and particularly for children and youth, where mental health services for children and youth actually fall under MCFD, not health. So we also get a disconnect there sometimes. Where I see glimmers of hope is what we talked about with some of the rapid response teams that are able to play that bridge. Particularly when people need to go to the emergency department and can facilitate that. So,
are you fucked? Are you fucked? Rapid response team with no weapons? Is that what you're talking about? That's her idea, guys. Rapid response team. The reason the cop is at the hospital with people that are suffering from mental health has nothing to do with them. It's because they're a danger. And the police officer has to be there until they're seen by a doctor. Until that person gets a bed. That's her fix. That's her fix to this. That's her band-aid to it. Rapid response team. How about more security officers? You know, they do it in Victoria. VHA in Victoria? Kick ass. These security officers are loaded with... They got gun belts. They don't got a gun, but they got gun belts. They got handcuffs. You drop a crazy person off in Victoria, you leave almost immediately because they take it over. That's the fix. That's a fix right there, Bonnie. Rapid response team. So you want the nurse to come to the hospital and you think the cop can leave. That's what Bonnie thinks. I can't leave. If that bad guy does something to the nurse, guess who's in trouble? I am. I can't go.
More of that
glimmer of hope,
that enabling of community supports like the ACT teams. And
the question was, the cops are tied up at the hospital, so why is she talking about this?
Others to fulfill that gap that we have on all.
Why is she even there?
Parts of our system, really.
Yeah, and just one other kind of last question here.
That's her answer? That's her answer. Why? I want to be there. I want to ask her the question, and she's not getting off the hook. Bonnie Henry, I'm at the hospital for 4 hours. My partner came with another crazy person. He's going to be here for 3. We got 2 people on the road. It's a problem. Every single shift, it's a problem. What are you going to do to fix it? Okay? I can't leave, Bonnie. I can't leave. I can't leave unless somebody takes my position who is just about as trained as I am when it comes to use of force. So what are you going to do, Bonnie? Answer me now. I want to know. I want to know. Well, we're going to get some nurses. No, that doesn't work, and this is the reason why it doesn't work. So what are you going to do? That's a terrible idea, Bonnie. That's actually really ignorant and stupid of you to even say it. Maybe I wouldn't say those words to her. But I wouldn't let her off the hook. You've answered the question like a 5-year-old would answer that question. You didn't answer it. That's not an answer. That's not a fix. Glimmer of hope? There's no hope there. It's not hopeful. I wish I was there.
If the police are brought in and they are either detained or they are brought to the hospital for psychiatric assessment, do they get those psychiatric services in real time? Like, what is the difference between somebody that's on a wait list to get psychiatric help as opposed to somebody that is then brought into emergency for obviously mental health issues? So what's the timing and care that they'd be able to see a health professional at a psychiatric level?
Never. 9 times out of 10, they're released. There's your answer. They go back on the streets.
Again, that's one of the issues that varies tremendously depending on where you are in the province, and there's lack of psychiatric services, particularly.
Well, why don't you do something about that, doctor? Huh? Instead of shitting on the police, why don't you shit on yourself? If there's a lack of it, fix it. Why are you at this meeting? You should be at home fixing that problem. There's a lack of, well, go and fix it. Instead of writing books, go and fix it and making t-shirts and telling everybody to be kind and safe. Go and fix your problems, your own problems.
For children and youth everywhere in our province. So it really depends on where they are, how long the wait list would be. And even going into an emergency department does not necessarily mean that you'll get the psychiatric services that you need. You'll get.
Oh, trust me, you don't get it. You don't get it. The doctors come out with a checklist and they just want to hear, are you a danger to yourself? No. See ya. Bye. People don't want to be apprehended, guys. Most people don't want to be apprehended, okay? Even the ones that want to be apprehended, they're still not getting the help that they need.
Get emergency first aid psychiatric care,
Yeah.
But that's not the same thing as ongoing psychiatric or psychosocial supports that people might necessarily need.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. Thanks for
Emily
nothing.
Peg.
I can't stop listening to this, and I need another beer. I just can't stop listening to this. I have been on here all day because I can't stop listening to it.
Because there's a better report.
I'm starting to lose steam here. Hey, guys, I just want to teach you something about a beer can, okay? See this beer can? I dent it. I dent it on the side, and you should do that too. When you open it up, you immediately put a dent right there. Okay? You feel that dent, right? So when I go to pick it up, I know where the dent is. The dent is where my mouth is going to go. See, I won't even look. Watch. There it is. Genius.
One of your recommendations was to the police officers would have trauma-informed practice training. And I'm just curious, you know, we talk about the success of CAR 86 and 87 and the rapid response teams. And I wonder, like, is there an opportunity for maybe even more training of police officers or credentials?
Oh, my God. Trauma training. Yeah, okay. Teach the experts more training. Testing. Why aren't the nurses getting the training, guys? They deal with crazy people all the time. All the time. It doesn't matter where you are. You're in a hospital, nursing home. There's mental health everywhere when it comes to healthcare. Why aren't they getting the training? Why aren't they focusing on their bed? What's Dr. Charlesworth going to say?
For a certain percentage of police officers or something like that around mental health.
And why do they need training? I'm confused. I can't listen to all this. Well, maybe I can. But why do they think police need training? Why? Why are they even talking? Why is this a topic? What's the problem? There's no problem. What's the problem? Do you know what the problem is? I'd like to know. No one's going to tell me.
Because police will be called when things get difficult. And
yeah, they do.
And maybe do you see any other opportunities for increased training for police officers?
What for?
In speaking with Chief Manick from Victoria, he said that it was a real game changer when they required all officers to have trauma-informed
Sure it was.
training,
sure it was.
Because it helps one make sense. I can speak from my own experience. It helps you make sense of the behaviors that you're seeing sometimes if you understand that it's trauma speaking or trauma enacting itself. So I think definitely that's something that would benefit all police officers, just given the demographics.
How would it benefit us? How would it benefit? I keep on saying us, but I'm retired. How's it going to benefit police officers? We deal with their behavior. If their behavior is dangerous, it makes no difference. And most of the time, their behavior... I shouldn't say most of the time their behavior is dangerous. Because that's not true. Most of the time, we show up. We talk to them nicely. Everything goes good. We apprehend them. It goes good. It's a good apprehension. We take them to the hospital. Everybody's pretty to everybody. And then the doctor kicks crazy man out of the hospital. And nothing's fixed. I want to know how police need, why would police need more training in trauma-related such and such da-da-da? I'm not saying training's bad, more training's bad, but why do they think we need it? Why do they think police need more training? Do you think Bill Burr and Joe Rogan, do you think they need some more comedy training? Do you know what I mean? Of course they don't need comedy training. Here's why. It takes 10 years to be funny. It takes 10 years to be a good comic, a good comedian. The only way of being a good comedian is by going on the stage and doing it. Doing it over and over and over again. Nobody can teach it to you. Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, they are experts. Expert comedians. Because they do it all the time and they've done it for years. Police officers do it all the time. They're more expert than you think. But they're not even called. They're not even called an expert. They do it every day, every shift, deal with mental health individuals, and they become expert at it. But society, Canada, Bonnie Henry, these people, they think you're less than expert. They think you're less than average. They want more training. You're not good enough. But they're confused. These are experts. They're experts at it. They're experts, most of them, at de-escalating anything. They're experts at handling people that are suffering from mental health. Because they constantly do it all the time, all the time, all the time. Just like Joe Rogan and Bill Burr. Comedy all the time. Bill Burr doesn't need any training. Just like cops. Do you think Bill Burr needs to go to comedy school? Why not? It'd make him better, right? No, it wouldn't. He can teach the school.
Then police officers can misunderstand or misinterpret behavior in such a way that it could escalate situations.
Did you hear that?
And if you don't have an understanding about brain development, trauma, adverse child experiences.
Like a lot of nurses?
The fight, flight, fear kind of response, the sort of reactivity that happens, then police officers can misunderstand or misinterpret behavior in such a way that it could escalate situations. So I think...
What are they going to... What?
There's kind of two levels. Certainly trauma-informed across the board. I don't see anybody that wouldn't benefit from that.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't benefit from it. Never had one issue ever with somebody that suffered from mental health. And most cops, same thing. I wouldn't benefit from any more training when it came to them. People suffering. I wouldn't. It's the truth.
And then more specialized training that would be more around developmental response.
What's a specialized training?
I'll pass over to my colleague.
I'll just echo that from an adult perspective as well as a youth perspective.
And, good.
You know, my connections and discussions ongoing as they are in many different fora with police. It's something that, I mean, no police officer wants to traumatize somebody else. And
no police officer wants to traumatize somebody else. What are you talking about? No shit. Bonnie?
And it can be very challenging working on the front lines and seeing some of the negative behaviors on a repeated basis. And
you don't know shit about being a cop. What are you talking about, Bonnie? Why are you talking for a police officer?
Seeing some of the negative behaviors on a repeated basis. And so having a better understanding of what goes on behind those behaviors and what leads to those behaviors. And, you know, I talked quite a lot with Indigenous leaders around substance use issues and overdose crises. And Grand Chief Jud Kelly says, you know, we don't have a drug problem, we have a pain problem. And pain in all its many forms and that public safety approach rather than the strict law enforcement approach is one that is more satisfying for people on both sides of the equation. So I'm very strongly support that, as well as, understand.
It is a really big issue, and it's not getting any better.
If I can just comment,
here we go.
Brothers-in-law was an RCMP officer in Sayward, which is...
Whoopee ding dong. Who gives a rat's ass what your brother does?
We need to do better at equipping our police. Hopefully not to be doctors and nurses, but to at least be that first aid in a way that helps bring people along rather than traumatize them.
Fuck off. Did you just say that? You didn't say that. Police are traumatizing them?
In a way that helps bring people along rather than traumatize them.
Wow. That's what it comes down to. That's what it is. Police are traumatizing them. That's what it is. Bonnie Henry just said, is that my title? Bonnie Henry just said that police are traumatizing people that are suffering from mental health. Wow. Wow. Every city I've ever worked, there's people that suffer from mental health and you're not doing anything about it, Bonnie. They're addicted to drugs and you're not doing anything about it. They're mentally deranged and you're not doing a thing about it. And you think police are traumatizing them. I don't even know what to say. It's not true. It's a lie. It's actually disappointing to hear stupidity like that. To hear something so ignorant from the top doctor. Like, I got so many words in my head right now that I want to say, but I don't want to say it because she's a girl. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to say it. Unbelievable. RCMP are traumatizing people that are suffering from trauma. What's the example? What's the example? Can't give one. Because it's not true. It's not happening. It doesn't happen. What a world we're living in. Wow. Wow. That's probably the best thing I could say, really, is just wow. You hear comments from people that are supposed to be intelligent in this world, that are supposed to have common sense. And she just said that the RCMP are traumatizing people that have mental. It's a chicken shit statement because she doesn't give an example, and she never will. Give me one example. Probably easy to come up with one example because I'm sure it's happened before. But your example has to tell me that there is a lot of police officers out there that are traumatizing people under the Mental Health Act. People believe this lady when she says these words. You can't make a blanket statement like that without evidence, without a concrete example. You can't do it. And she did it. Is anybody even talking about this? I can't believe what I just heard. I honestly can't believe it. What is the main problem here? The main problem is mental illness has skyrocketed. It's through the roof. And she's doing nothing to help them. You want to help police? Help the people that are suffering. Help the people with the illness. Help the drug addicts. Help the illness. Get them help. Make them get help. Don't just sit there and say, we need to make all drugs legal. Yeah, fucking idiot. That's your fix? And police they need more training, right? They need more training, guys. I'm actually disappointed right now. I'm actually like bugged. I'm bothered. We're fighting a fight that we can't win. With minds like this, police can't win. You don't stand a chance. You turn on the TV, nobody is talking like I'm talking. I can't find it. We only hear her side. Like how many thousands of people, maybe millions, have heard this, heard Bonnie Henry say this, and believe it. Bonnie Henry says she's a pretty powerful person in Canada right now. When she talks, people are listening. And they're going to listen to this bullshit. I've just been kind of sitting here thinking about that comment, and I don't even know what to say to it. And I'm tired of saying, I don't know what to say to it. Let's just stop talking. Okay? Hey, if this is an episode, thanks for watching, guys. Will you subscribe to my channel? Sometimes it feels like I'm talking to myself, okay? And I'm on Spotify. I'm on iTunes. I'm on Facebook. I'll leave the descriptions down below. I'm on Twitter. Add me. I like it when you add me. And will you call me? Call my hotline number, 604-330-2512. I'm not going to answer, but leave a statement. Leave anything. Leave a question. Maybe you're a member that wants to be a cop. You know? Maybe that's what you want. And you have a question for me. Or maybe you want to talk about COVID or, I don't know, anything in the news or anything. Maybe you got a question for me. Maybe you want to ask a question about me. You want to know what color hair dye I use. I don't know. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.